Welcome to the illustration of the Americus app. After clicking on the icon, you'll get a dialog for logging into the various companies. We'll select the initial company that comes up, and I'll bring up the application. So what we've done with the Americus app is we've tried to condense or simplify the maneuverability within the system. So you'll notice that we've got a jobs notebook here, or job list here, and we have our vendor list here. You'll also notice that we have a contacts area, okay, and a notes tab. There are other tabs that have been released, for example, a ledger tab. So if I click on auto refresh and refresh, it will show me what's outstanding for the vendor. So for example, in concrete coring, we owe $8,250, and it shows up here. I go over to the job list, and I go, for example, to the golden job. My accounts receivable is $1,450, and that's itemized in this ledger. If I select payables and refresh, AP and refresh, it will give me my accounts payable for that project. And here we're sorting by vendor. Okay, so we go back over here to the lists. If I want to go into the general ledger, I click on the GL tab or icon, and it brings up the general ledger list. So if I click on one of the items, it's going to clear the left-hand side for the particular concept. So if I come into this, click auto refresh and refresh on my filters, and it will give me my debits and credits for the account. I can also turn on additional columns by clicking the Customize grid, and I'm able to select additional columns to turn on and off. So we have lots of columns we can turn on and off. If I go to the Jobs tab and I select the golden job, I'm going to get my revenue and my expenses from my Transactions tab. So the revenue, $24,300, and the costs are $63,983. My debits and credits columns are showing up here. If I go to, from within the Jobs list, I can go to my Ledger tab, and here's my accounts payable for the project. We've covered that. My accounts receivable for the project. Okay, so actually this is my ledger. So there's my transactions and my ledger. Okay. Over here, other areas that have been released into the beta is from the general ledger, we have accounts receivable, and same concepts over on the left-hand side. Here we're in the ledger showing the total accounts receivable. Or we can say, give me my general ledger, and it's going to show me my debits and credits. Okay, and if it affected the job revenue or cost, it's going to show in this area. HR is what we called our payroll, along with human resource management. So the employee list will come up. My debits and credits are on the left-hand side under transactions. The Contacts tab is a newer area in the system, and here we've got the default contact is the employee themselves. If I highlight the area and click Add, I can select another contact. Let's say I'll just select anyone from the vendors and customers and employees will show up. So down here in the contacts area, we have a notes area, and we're able to, here's a date timestamp. Make a note, click another date timestamp. Okay, and these are the notes, and this is the header for the note. I can also add a note. So let's say I want to add note number 2. It's going to ask me if I want to save the changes to the previous note, and I'll say yes. Note number 2. I can give it a description. And I can also place a date on there. If I don't place a date on it, the system will put today's date. Okay. And over here I can make notes. Okay, and as I click yes, I'll save. And now I've got multiple notes. From within the Contacts tab, I can also add contacts on the fly. So let's say I do contact. It's going to go ahead and create a new contact. It'll assign it a vendor or a contact ID, and we can do additional concepts here along with notes down here. Okay. The items area has been released into the beta. So same concepts with everything else, where we have contacts, notes, and transactions. The ledger concept is not applicable with the items. In human resource, the ledger is not applicable. So the last item that we've released is into the beta is the fixed assets area, where you're able to see the transactions. The ledger tab is not applicable for fixed assets, notes, and contacts. Okay, so these are the basically 6 areas we've released into the Americus application, and these are the 4 tabs. Up across the top of the screen, you'll see your tabs and you'll see your lists. So we have the work order, quotes, plants, and preferences tabs still to turn on with additional validation before we do that. And then we have on the tab side, we have all the job tabs. Some of them just need a little bit of validation in order for us to turn them on. And then, so we have additional areas that will be turned on over the next several months. We have all of our transactions are going to be under entry. The icons that have been activated have been placed on this in this area. So the accounts receivable AR receipt has been turned on. If I click on that, it'll bring up a transaction dialog where you can enter receipts. The purchase order has been turned on as well. So I'll cancel that. Go into the purchase order. So that's a quick glimpse of what we've got going on with the Americus application. There's quite a bit more here. Hard to really convey all the details in a short video, but we just wanted to introduce you to the application, and each week we're going to release a new video covering trying to refine the material that we've released in the previous week, along with touching on additional in the application. Thank you for spending the time to look at the